Hi everyone, welcome to the world of Clan Wars with stewiejp. I'm Stewie and this is a Tier 8 Clan Wars battle featuring BAMF Clan. BAMF Clan up against their old nemesis, the Kelly Gang. The clan that was named after the infamous cop killer of the 17 or 1800s. But in this battle you can see BAMF they've gone pretty heavy here, bought two defenders, one IS-3, three of the new German heavy tanks, the VK100-01P, and I can tell you I quite enjoyed playing those tanks when I was doing the grind towards the mouse. And MonashSQ, one of the executive officers, he's in the Skorpion G, and after this battle there's going to be a bit of a Skorpion G Extravaganza featuring MonashSQ in his premium German tank destroyer. Looking at YouTube Gamer's point of view, he's in the RU251, and him and Nath Dogaz X, I guess, is that how you say it? He's also in an RU251. They've both gone to the lighthouse on cliff, and they're looking to get some vision on these Cali members. YouTube Gamer into this bush here, hoping to get his binoculars to fire up and spot something, but he's probably just a little bit back from the ridgeline, so he really can't see it. And look, when I was at MI6, we used to come up against Kelly in Tier 8, and on this map it looks like they're doing exactly what they used to do with us. Kelly again, only three tanks spotted so far, the VK, the KV5, and of course the Tiger 2. And it looks like Kelly looks like they haven't learnt. They're not using vision at all. They're just sort of camping with heavies as the YouTube Gamer puts a shot into the VK100-01P. This is probably the hardest tank to penetrate out of the three tanks that have been spotted so far. And of course, I failed to mention, they bought an artillery piece as well, the Lorraine 155-51. Now, of course, this is from steel patch 9.17, or 971, 171. So the stun mechanics aren't in there as yet. Ploughing through the old replays that people have kindly sent to me. YouTube Gamer and Nath Dog as X. But still looking for vision up here. You can see that the BAMF lads have put some heavies in the 1-2 line, which is where the KV5 and the Tiger 2 were spotted to try and stop the Cali lads pushing this way. VK100-01P was spotted down here by these lights, and Skorpion G at the back, and the defenders look like they're just going to sit around this hill, and maybe they're just going to wait for Kelly to make a move here. Not exactly sure. Just three enemy tanks spotted so far. BAMF gone pretty heavy on cliff. Just two light tanks and one artillery, one tank destroyer. The rest all heavies. I think that BAMF would have a pretty good, reasonably good vision control looking at where the tanks are. Of course, these heavies could probably spot to about here. Clearly they can't spot the Tiger 1 anymore, unless he might have pulled back. The KV5 might have pulled back as well, and this VK might have pulled back. Bit of movement happening. Defenders in the IS-3 looks like they're going around to assist these VK100s, and these light tanks still trying to spot from up here. They might need to move a little bit further forward, especially if Kelly have pulled back, which is what Kelly tend to do, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them. I know they do keep turning up. They do keep chipping away, even though they don't seem to win many games. They never give up, and I do respect that. You know, they cop a bit of grief on the forums, and I understand that because they've got a pretty low rating. But at least they keep turning up. At least that's one thing that we can give them. 0 all the score. They have put some damage into that VK100-01P. I think he's down to about 260 health from memory. The artillery put a beautiful shot into the German heavy tank. They like their fourth tank, which is the Object 252U. Very popular tank in normal battles, and of course even Tier 8 Clan Wars. Premium tanks never used to really get a run in Clan Wars until these new ones came out. I've seen these defenders and the Object 252Us, it's essentially the same tank, but they get used a reasonable amount, as do the Skorpion Gs and even the French premium tank, the Lorraine 40T, as well as the AMX M49 Liberty tank. You can see a tree fall over there as the YouTube Gamer puts a blind shot in. You could probably afford to. They're clearly not spotting him. Kelly have gone Very heavy indeed by the looks of it. Centurion 1, 2 German heavies, 2 German VKs I should say, 1 Tiger 2, the Object 252 and a KV5. Can't really see it from the YouTube gamer's point of view, but these heavies having a bit of an engagement here with, looks like the bulk of Kelly's team are down that one line. And unfortunately this is what Kelly tend to do. They tend to play very conservatively, get out visioned, and then just get picked off one at a time. I think having 2 lights on this lighthouse is probably not the best thing to do. I mean, nobody's losing, so we can't really criticise BAMF too much. But having 2 lights in the same spot, essentially they're just going to be spotting the same thing. Again, looking at the mini-map, all the heavy tanks sort of forming up for a decent engagement down the 1-2 line, which is good. That's what we want to see. That's where they all are. There's Centurion 1 camping back at K1 as a sniper, Tiger 1, a VK, an Object 252 and the KV5. The other VK, pretty good chance he's retreated back to here. This is the guy who was hit by artillery and taken down to, I reckon it was about 200 health. Still 0-all. We can't really see the engagement from the YouTube gamer's point of view in his RU251. Skorpion G coming up to the lighthouse now. Now that Skorpion G should be able to get some nice cheeky snipey shots in, especially as we know the YouTube gamer hasn't been spotted. They're probably talking on TeamSpeak or Discord or whatever voice software they use, and he'll be saying, I'm not spotted up here. You can bring your Skorp G up here and you'll be able to get some nice cheeky shots. Now of course he's aiming at the Tiger 2 now. Of course the Tiger 2 is out of view range, but if you can land the shot, you can still damage the tank, as the VK10001P picks up the kill on the Tiger 2. I'm pretty sure BAMF was, I think when BAMF started, I think it was started by a few of the guys who used to be in Kelly Clan. I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong. And I know there's certainly a rivalry there. I know the YouTube game was pretty excited when he sent me this replay. Even though we're up to the halfway mark now, not a great deal has happened. Look, artillery moving into a very aggressive position down the eastern flank. I'd really like to see one of these light tanks move down here and try and get some vision on these enemy tanks. And I think the reason that they're not moving, well, the reason that we haven't really seen much is because one of these lights really needs to move. I'd like to see it really nice and aggressive down here. We know all the Kelly tanks are all probably clustered all down there now, maybe a couple back here. This VK most certainly would have retreated, or he could just be tucked right in there. But if they get a light tank, and maybe that's why Fishy Power's pinging that square now. If they get a light tank down there, be able to get a lot more vision. You can see the YouTube gamer, he's done a little bit of damage, 206, and he's spotted 554. That would have been that shot from the artillery onto that VK. But these lights really need to get a little bit more aggressive, especially with that artillery where he is. He's moving his mouse around like a man possessed now, the YouTube gamer, and hopefully he stops before it starts giving us all the shits. He knows I mean that in the most nicest way possible. It's looking like a case of hurry up and wait now. All the heavies are in a bit of a standoff here. Of course, the guys from BAMF, they still don't know exactly what Kelly have brought to the game, as YouTube gamer keeps trying to get some cheeky snipey shots into those heavy tanks. Artillery takes out the VK100-01P. I still don't think that was the one that was taken down to really low health earlier on. YouTube gamer and the RU looking for snipey shots with the Skorpion G, and with the artillery moving down here, these lights really have to move, and it looks like YouTube gamer's going to do it. Looks like he's worked it out. If he can provide some vision for this Skorpion G, and even the other RU could snipe away all day long. We don't need 2 of them up there, and that's why YouTube gamer's moving forward now, trying to get some more vision on these Kelly heavy tanks. 2 zips a score, so they're up by 2 tanks. Of course, 10 versus 10 in Tier 8 Clan Wars. And now this is what I like to see, the YouTube gamer getting into a really good aggressive spotting position. He should be able to spot their whole team from up here. If he can get into this bush and let his binos do the work, and he should spot that Centurion if that Centurion's still camping at the back. and if he gets this rock out of his way, he'll also be able to spot some other tanks. T28 prototype gets lit right in the back corner. I'm surprised that the YouTube gamer didn't get lit there, but now he's doing what he's doing his job. He got lit that time. Looks like he doesn't have 6th sense. Sixth sense didn't go off. I thought he did have 6th sense in that tank, but doing the right thing in his RU-251 and lighting up these tanks back down here. Artillery should be having a field day on those camping tanks at K1, a Centurion 1 and a T28 prototype. And all he needs to do is light them. He doesn't need to engage them and play it like a heavy tank. He just needs to light these camping Kelly tanks. 2-zip the score. He's picked up 712 damage, 554 assisted. I reckon he just needs to move a little bit more forward, maybe into that bush. Let his binoculars do the work and spot that Centurion and the T28 prototype again. They'll be nice, juicy targets for the French artillery piece. That's what he's doing now. He's moved a little bit forward. Still not seeing him. So he just needs to keep moving forward until he does. Meanwhile, at G2, all these other heavy tanks are all pretty much lit up now. Then the guys from the BAMF having a good old-fashioned duke out against the Object 252U, the VK, the KV5. Looks like they're all there. Finally lights up the T28 prototype again.
We didn't even scratch them.
He can't help himself. He's got to shoot at the American tank destroyer. That shot certainly hit him. Whether it did damage or not, we just don't know. And starting to think that the YouTube gamer doesn't have 6th sense in this tank. Oh, for some reason I thought he did. T34 gets lit in the back of all those heavies, and you can see the defenders moving around to this side. And now YouTube gamer picks up his first kill, getting rid of the VK100 01P, and now he can use the camo values of his tank to just snipe away at all these heavy tanks. A Type 59 in there as well. Very unusual lineup from the Kelly gang, and of course because he can't see through these bushes, then they shouldn't be able to see him. These heavy tanks are lighting up these heavy tanks. They're sort of doing the opposite of what a light tank might normally do. And YouTube gamer just chipping away at these heavily armoured tanks, but they're no match for the strong German light tank gun. Picks up his second kill, getting rid of the Object 252U. That's 2 kills, 1,568 damage, 1,078 assisted damage as the 2-minute siren goes up. They're winning 5-zip, and he may as well shoot at the nice soft Type 59. He puts a shot into his old mate Nathan Dogs. Picks up the kill on the premium Chinese medium tank. And now it's just a case of mopping up with the score on 6-zip. I know what they'll be saying. They'll be saying, right here, we want to win this without a loss. And there's the Centurion and the T28 prototype back in the corner, which is a terrible place to be on Cliff. But no way out at all. YouTube gamer just charging towards them like a man possessed. The RU-251 picks up the kill on the prototype, iron striking his defender, kills the Centurion 1, and not only did they camp the corner, it looks like the Kelly gang were going in one short, which is unfortunate, but I guess it does happen from time to time. As you have a very quick look at the post-game battle results, it was a interesting game, that one. I know YouTube Gamer was pretty happy that they beat Kelly, probably because of their old rivalries, but look, Kelly really played that one pretty badly. 4 donuts. The Centurion only had 100 hit points of damage in that game. Conversely, everyone except for these ones down the bottom, well, all the rest did some pretty good spread of damage. Ironstoke, only 176 damage, but 2 kills, so you got to take guns out of the game, and everyone else having a pretty good run there. Artillery doing well over 3,000, and a few up near 2,000. Unfortunate for Sergeant Guffey. Not sure what happened to him, but didn't manage to do much in his Object 252. But a pretty good result, beating their old rivals, Kelly on Cliff. As we move on to the second game now, it's time for some Skorpion G action. This first game's on steps, and this features MonashSQ. MonashSQ is one of the executive officers at BAMF Clan, and he was pretty excited when he sent me these replays featuring the premium German tank destroyer, the same tank that he had in that last game, but probably thought, hang on, I didn't do too much in that last game against Kelly. I want to show all the viewers how good I can be in the premium German tank destroyer as he kicks back on steps and puts a very nice shot into the headshot into the Type 62. Gets lit in the process, possibly by the Type 62 or maybe even the WZ132. Again, this is from patch 9.171. So the new artillery or matchmaking mechanics aren't in it. This is a tier 10 battle. There's 4 tier 10s on Monash's side, 5 on the enemy side, and of course he's in his tier 8 premium tank destroyer as he fires clutch towards T49, or the grill doesn't quite land where he wanted it to go, but they're still up 2-1 on steps. He has put one shot into the Type 62 for 501 hit points of damage, and now he's sort of pulling back. These teammates doing something a little bit different. Normally you see on steps, normally you see the northeast flank or the eastern flank. Normally you see that, you know, with medium tanks and even heavy tanks going there, but in this game you can see, and you know, things change. In this game you can see that the majority of Monash's side heading down the western flank, so that's where he's going to try and support them. He's a little tier 8 in a big tier 10 game, so he can't be taking one flank on all by itself. But that T49 doing a good job lining up the E50M, and Monash will be thinking, I wouldn't mind putting one of these big German shells into that tank, and that looked like a hit, but clearly it didn't. Missed by a whisker. The E50M's been tracked now, and he's offered him his side quite nicely, so he'll say thank you very much. Another 480 hit points of damage into the tier 10 tank. He also got a bit of assisted damage for that because he kept the track destroyed on the tier 10 German tank destroyer, and that AMX 30B somehow he bounces the shot into tier 10 French medium tank. Focuses on the IS-3 now, puts another big shell, 571 damage into the Russian heavy tank. Scores at 3 apiece, and again that T4 will be interesting to see how good that T49 does. That T49 sitting there is keeping all these enemy tanks lit and providing Monash and these other players up here, including the SDRV 103, the tier 9 Swedish TD, with targets. If this T49 wasn't there, then you wouldn't be able to see these enemy tanks. Now Monash gets lit up on his perch there, doesn't get shot though, which is good because he pulls out just in time. Not sure who's lighting him. Maybe that AMX could light him. Of course the tank destroyer's big guns do let people know that they're there because the guns are so big and loud, I guess. And he picks up a kill on the AMX 30B. He didn't bounce him that time, and now he's up there with the Emil, looking for some more cheeky shots. 5-3's the score. He's already had a pretty good game. Bounces the T57, but the Emil doesn't. And Monash now looking to be a cheeky little sniper in his Skorpion G, which is exactly the right thing to do as he picks up his 3rd kill, getting rid of that IS-3 that he damaged earlier. 8-4 the score, 2,634 damage, a little bit of assisted as well, as he looked for another cheeky shot. When the score's on 8-4 and you're in one of these Skorpion Gs, the fact that he's got full health too is pretty good. He knows he can take a shot if he needs to later on, but at the moment it's not coming to that. He just wants that VK to poke, and poke a little bit more, or maybe even at the range 40 ton, which is probably ran away. It's pretty quick. Ooh, he's just not going to present himself, that VK, is he? He's just being a bit of a cock tease there. MonashSQ on 3 kills. He'd love to get another one. It's a tier 10 game. It's always a good feeling when you're in a tier 10 game in a tier 8 tank and you have an absolute ripper, and that's what he's hoping to do. Looking again at the mini-map, you can see the more heavy tanks have really pushed well into the south. The Type 5, the T57 and the T30, accompanied by a T71 and an Object 907. They've really taken control of the southern half. But Monash and his teammates just want to make sure these enemy tanks don't push too much further to the north. He gets lit. He was never going to penetrate that shot on the Jag Tiger, but when You've got to take these shots, I guess. There is artillery, so he keeps moving. He knows he got lit because his sixth sense went off. And he's trying to help this Emil 1, the Hitman, which is a pretty cool name, fend off this northern attack as the guys in the south really try and take control down there. Sort of two battles in one happening on this game on steps. Picks up a little bit of spotting damage on the Jag Tiger, but he really wants to get that Skorpion gun working again. Not sure if it'd be doesn't want to get too close to the action because these tanks could roll him pretty well if they pushed onto him. Gets a little bit more spotting damage. I think that was an artillery or even the T-49 that put some more damage into the Jag Tiger. 2,634 damage, 825 assisted damage as he fires clutch at the Lorraine 40 ton and kills it. He'd be fuming. I've got one of those tanks and I'll tell you, it's an absolute ripper. 4 kills to Monash, nearly 3,000 damage done, nearly 1,000 assisted damage. You'll be thinking, I fancy myself here. I'm having a pretty good game. I want to maybe do even more. The VK100 01P and the Jag Tiger, pretty much the only tanks left around here, and they've both got a bit of armour, so they're really going to have to watch where they shoot them. Jag Tiger's down to a one shot. He aims. Oh, he gets it. Thought that one might have bounced as well, but he picks up his 5th kill in this tier 10 battle on steps. Again, still on full health. Artillery clearly not focusing on him. Artillery's probably focusing on this Type 5, who's sitting on the cap, and that'll be putting some immense pressure on these enemy tanks. Auto aims and kills the VK100 01P. There's the top gun. That's his 6th kill. The grill did fire towards MonashSQ, but didn't manage to land a shot. He would have felt it if he did, that's for sure. And he's feeling quite confident about getting a shot into the grill or the GW E100, the big tier 10 artillery piece, who he knows has just fired because he just picked up a kill on, I'm not sure who it was, the J Panther I think it might have been, I could be wrong. 12-8 the score, the Type 5's capping, and that'll be putting a lot of pressure on these enemy tanks. MonashSQ will love a shot into the grill, fires clutch and misses. The grill finally lands a shot on Monash's Skorpion G, but that grill is about to get totally swamped. He shoots just the same time as the T-57 Heavy, I think, and that's why he didn't get the kill for that, but he still picked up 6 kills in this tier 10 battle on steps in the Skorpion G. And now, as we all know, towards the end of a random battle when there's not many tanks left, it's an absolute, it's mayhem trying to get those last couple of shots off. Auto aims at the GW E100. You don't want to auto aim at that. It's pretty heavily armoured for an artillery piece. In fact, I'd say it's probably the most heavily armoured SPG in the game. And that's better. Gets a shot into the top of the artillery, and that's his 7th kill and the last kill of the battle. And it was an absolute ripper on steps. As we have a very quick look at the post-game battle results, it's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, which will come as no surprise to anyone who is a fan of this channel. It's an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. The 5 for effect, and of course the Top Gun for getting those 7 kills in his tier 10 game in the Skorpion G. A nice bit of defence. That's exactly right. He played that absolutely perfectly, and that's why he topped the scoreboards. 1,423 base experience. That's without a daily double or a premium. That's his base score, 1,423. 3,488 hit points of damage. 7 kills. He fired 19 shots. 15 of those shots landed on the target, and 11 did damage. And of course, 994 assisted damage would have also helped with his score, as well as his credits. 69,000 credits after tax with a premium account, and that is an absolute ripper. That's why we love the Rheinmetall Skorpion G, the tier 8 German premium tank destroyer featuring MonashSQ. And you're about to see him again. This time he's going to be on Erlenberg. Now this is from patch 9.17, not 9.171. And he is, can we see him if I moved it there? There we go. Slight problem with the sound, but this time he's on Erlenberg. There we go. I think it's because I fast forwarded the first bit by about 20 seconds. So this is 9.17 as opposed to 9.171. MonashSQ from BAMF, one of the executive officers. He's got the Skorpion G, and of course the Skorpion G This time he's a top tier tank, so he's in a tier 8 game. And he's just waiting for an opportunity on Erlenberg. As let's have a quick mouthful of coffee. Look at that. Oh, that was an unlucky shot. I thought, gee, if that lands, that will be absolutely massive. You can have it. He's platooned up with his old mate, 150mm T54 tank, also from BAMF clan, in his IS3. And when you're in a tier 8 platoon and you manage to get a top tier battle, it's pretty good fun indeed. Especially tanks like the Skorpion G and the IS3. IS3, one of the better tier 8 heavy tanks. He cops a little bit of attention from, what's that? It's a tier 6. It was a tier 6 American medium tank, the M4A3E2. And he copped 153 hit points of damage. Looking again at the mini-map, a lot of enemy tanks pushing this western flank. So Monash, he knows he hasn't got any army, he needs to get out of there. The IS-3 looks like he's going to try and hold him up on that corner. They lose the VK30-01P, the little tier 6 German medium tank. And of course there's nothing down here. These medium tanks have worked that out. They've pushed all the way down there. There's a lot of enemy tanks on this western flank though. Normally on Erlenberg, whatever team spawned south sort of goes around the other way. Now this is a defence battle, so they don't need to kill all the enemy tanks in this lineup. They just need to stop the enemy killing their own tanks, and of course also stop them capping out. Now that's why MonashSQ from BAMF clan is moving up towards the northeast corner, because it's only his platoon mate stopping this massive amount of pushing from the enemy side up the western flank. And of course from up here in this corner he's going to have some camouflage, some trees and bushes and all that kind of stuff, and he'll still have eyes on the cap. Stop capping out. He can just keep resetting for days if he needs to. His platoon mate copping a massive amount of attention from that swarm of enemy tanks that have just absolutely smashed through. No idea where that shot went. His platoon mate 150mm T54 tank gets taken out by the enemy IS-3, and that's going to be just about it for eyes on those tanks. Auto aims at the Super Pershing. Unlucky. He's only done 1,000 damage. He probably could have done 2,000 damage if his aiming was a little bit more accurate. Not his fault, but sometimes heat of the moment and all that kind of stuff, I guess. He bounces the IS-3, but he needs to get out of view range from those heavy tanks. And that's what these circles are good for when you're in a tank destroyer. If you can get the enemy tanks between these two lines on the mini-map, then he knows he won't be lit, and he can generally fire with impunity, unless somebody else comes up and spots him from a different direction. He's got bushes between him and the enemy tanks. Again, no idea where that shot went. With the score on 2-4, looks like they're going to try and cap this one. He's just going to find some more opportunities to put damage into these enemy tanks. 3-5 the score now. The Jag Panzer on the enemy side goes down, but so does the Panther 2. And these tank destroyers in the corner, they're getting resets on the cap, but they're not taking guns out of the game. Another one goes down, the Jag Tiger 8.8. A lot of tanks in the middle of the map, and this AMX M445 up here near this building, up on this hill. Where's he? He's on full health. He probably should be at least trying to get some vision. Lands another shot into the T29, brings his damage count up to 1,444 hit points, and he'll be hoping for the kill shot. He doesn't need to, so now there you go. The IS will be a nice juicy target. Doesn't manage to penetrate that shot. He's gone APCR now because he knows that he can save this game, and he wants to make sure every shot lands. APCR won't bounce. He tracks the IS. Pretty badly aimed that shot. Only one tank capping. I'm not sure it is the IS though, because the timer's not going down. Jag Panzer 4 killed the IS just as MonashSQ was firing there. 6-7 to score. Now they're clawing this back, but the enemy side are on the cap. Could be that OI. There you go. It was the OI. Picks up the kill on the Tier 6 Japanese heavy tank, and Monash is thinking, well, no one else is going to light this cap circle. I guess I need to. The light tanks have been killed. It's just 3 tank destroyers, a medium and 2 heavies against 2 heavies, 3 mediums and 3 tank destroyers. So a bit of an unusual lineup, but he's still top tier. Auto aims at the T-3485 and picks up the kill, clawing the scoreboard back. They're only down by 1 tank now. We've got plenty of time to get these resets. There's 2 enemy tanks capping. Now he doesn't want to miss this shot. He wants to get rid of the IS-3. He does. Now there's only 1 tank capping. He gets rid of the top tier heavy tank. He's sort of making up for lost ground here. His teammates, though, they're still dying one by one. A minute left on the cap, so there's no great rush for the cap. He's looking at the Skorpion G. Will this one hit? It does. Picks himself up his 4th kill. All those inaccurate shots. He's making up for them now. Those ones earlier. I'm not saying it was his fault. Some of them were just bad RNG, and you know, heat of the moment kind of stuff there. There's the IS-3. Where is it? Where is it? Slow down. There you go. Straight into the side of the turret. That's going to cause him a bit of grief. He's not moving at all. Don't know if he's DC'd. Still 1 tank capping. Looks like the Jag Panther is going to try and cap as well. That's a pretty brave move from the Tier 8 German tank destroyer. Still only 1 tank capping, 50 seconds to go. He looks like he's rolled off the cap now. The AMX M445 finally comes into the game. The Jag picks up the kill on the T54 Mod 1. That's a handy one to get rid of. And now Monash from BAMF Clad coming in to help his teammate. Shoots and sets on fire the IS-3. Now that IS-3 is clearly AFK. He's clearly not playing. But it's still a gun out of the game. 5 kills to Monash. Ideally like to make this one another top gun. The J Panther 2 is in his sights. Slow down. Oh, I think he needs to make his mouse a little bit less sensitive. He's really having trouble finding the spot on the Tier 8 German tank destroyer. There it is. And there's his top gun. That's 6 kills from MonashSQ from BAMF Clan, one of the executive officers. There's still 2 tanks left to kill on Erlenberg. And of course, he's got the help of this AMX M445, who's still got nearly 900 hit points. And also the JPZ4, the Tier 6 tank destroyer, who's on 600 health at all as well. There's the T25-2. Bounces Monash in his Skorpion G. He puts a shot into him, takes him down to 12 hit points, and he can afford to take a shot, but he probably doesn't really want to. Loses 343 damage to the Tier 7 American tank destroyer, but gives himself his 7th kill. Just the M4A3E2 left, which is the first tank that shot Monash in his Skorpion G at the start of the game. 1 minute left, 1 minute 15 left on the clock, and it's just a case of trying to find out where this little Tier 6 medium tank is. Remember, they were down by a number of tanks early on, and his MonashSQ from BAMF and his Skorpion G Tier 8 premium German tank destroyer has absolutely carried this one as the 1 minute siren goes off. Finish the coffee before it all happens. Looks like the AMX M445 has found the little E2. Is just out of view range for Monash. So he moves back there. Can he see him? Has he got a shot? Is he going to move? I don't think he's going to move. Oh, 504. That's turned a really good game into an absolutely awesome game. That one shot just there is up to nearly 5,000 hit points of damage, which is an absolute ripper in a Tier 8 game. And he'll be as nervous as a cat in a dog convention. Oh, Captain Tornio in his M4A3E2 on Erlenberg. 3 seconds to go. He doesn't realise, Captain Tornio doesn't realise though that it's still going to be a loss for him because draws don't happen in these encounter games. As we have a look at the post-game battle results, it's the last game of this Skorpion G Extravaganza on Water Tanks with StewiejP from Get On Board Studios. It's the Ace Tanker Mastery Badge, the Bruiser, Arsonist for lighting that IS-3 on fire, the Duelist 5 for effect, High Caliber, and of course the Top Gun for picking up those 7 kills. Now, it did say just under 5,000 damage, but of course one of those blind shots must have hit. 5,409 hit points of damage, 7 kills, 1,560 base experience. You fired 22 shots, 16 hit, 13 did damage, and that was enough for an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. Made a little bit of coin, but he did fire a bit of premium ammunition, and of course with a premium account he still would have made nearly 60,000 credits. That was an absolute ripper on Erlenberg. The assault mode of the game featuring MonashSQ from BAMF Clan. So thanks for the replays, lads. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this Clan Wars battle, BAMF versus Kelly, as well as a little bit of Skorpion G Extravaganza. Thanks for watching. Take care and see you all next time.